Hello, Mole Class, and welcome to another day of Storytime with Mrs. Edwards and the Witches. Okay, we're getting quite far into this book now, so we'll just carry on where we left off. So we got to Ziggs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition. I could have sworn I heard an alarm clock ringing. I saw Bruno jump. He jumped as though someone had stuck a hat pin deep into his bottom, and he yelled, "Ow!" He jumped so high that he landed on a small table up there on the stage, and he started hopping about on the top of this table, waving his arms and yelling his head off. Then suddenly he became silent. His whole body stiffened. "The alarm clock has gone off!" shrieked the Grand High Witch. "The mouse maker is beginning to work." She started hopping about on the platform and clapping her gloved hands together, and then she shouted out, "This smelly brat, this filthy scum, this horrid little louse will very, very soon become a lovely little mouse." Bruno was getting smaller by the second. I could see him shrinking. Now his clothes seemed to be disappearing, and brown fur was growing all over his body. Suddenly he had a tail, and then he had whiskers. Now he had 4 feet. It was all happening so quickly. It was a matter of only seconds. And all at once, he wasn't there anymore. A small brown mouse was running around the tabletop. "Bravo!" yelled the audience. "She's done it! It works! It's fantastic! It's colossal! It's the greatest yet! You are a miracle, oh brainy one!" They were all standing up and clapping and cheering, and the Grand High Witch produced a mousetrap from the folds of her dress and started to set it. Oh no, I thought. I didn't want to see this. Bruno Jenkins may have been a bit of a stinker, but I'm dashed if I want to watch him having his head chopped off. "There is he!" snapped the Grand High Witch, searching the platform. "Where has that mouse got to?" She couldn't find him. Clever Bruno must have jumped down off the table and scampered off into some corner or even down a small hole. Thank heavens for that. "It matters not," shouted the Grand High Witch. "Silence and sit down." Okay, there's the boy turning into a mouse. Another chapter, The Ancient Ones. The Grand High Witch stood on the very centre of the platform, and those dangerous eyes of hers slowly travelled around the audience of witches who were sitting so meekly before her. All those over 70, put your hands up, she barked suddenly. 7 or 8 hands went up in the air. "It comes to me," said the Grand High Witch, "that you ancient ones will not be able to climb the high trees in search of grander legs." "We won't, your grandness. We are afraid we won't," chanted the ancient ones. "Nor will you be able to catch the crab cruncher who lives high up in the rocky cliffs," the Grand High Witch went on. "I can't exactly see you sprinting after the speedy cat spring rider, or diving into deep waters to spear the blabber fleech, or striding the bleak moors with a gun under your arm to shoot the grobble squid. You are too old and feeble for these things." "We are," chanted the ancient ones. "We are! We are!" "Your ancient ones have served me well over many years," said the Grand High Witch, "and I do not wish to deny you the pleasure of bumping up a few thousand children each just because you have become personally old and feeble. I have therefore prepared personally, with my own hands, a limited quantity of the Laydowshan mouse maker, which I shall distribute to the ancient ones before you leave the hotel." "Oh, thank you," cried the old witches. "You are far too good to us, your grandness. You are so kind and thoughtful." "Here is a sample of what I am giving you," shouted the Grand High Witch. She fished around in a pocket of her dress and brought a very small bottle. She held it up and shouted, "In this tiny bottle is 500 doses of a mouse maker. Is enough to turn 500 children into mice." I could see that the bottle was made of dark blue glass, and that it was very small, about the same size as the ones you can buy at the chemist with nose drops in. "Each of you ancient ones will get 2 of these bottles," she shouted. thank you, oh most generous and thoughtful one, chorused the ancient witches. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Not one drop will be wasted. Each of us will promise to squish and squallop and squiggle 1,000 children. Our meeting is over, announced the Grand High Witch. Here is the timetable for the remainder of your stay in this hotel. Right now, we must all go out onto the Sunshine Terrace and have tea with that ridiculous manager. Next, at 6 o'clock, those witches who are to climb trees after Grantel's eggs will report to my room to receive 2 bottles of mouse maker each. My room number is 54454. Do not forget it. Then at 8 o'clock, all of you will assemble in the dining room for supper. We are the lovely ladies of the RSPCC, and they are setting up 2 long tables specially for us. But do not forget to put the cotton plugs up your noses. That dining room will be full of filthy little children, and without the nose plugs, the stink will be unbearable. Apart from that, remember to behave normally at all times. Is everything clear? Any questions? I have one question, Your Grandness, said a voice in the audience. What happens if one of the chocolates we are giving away in our shops gets eaten by a grown-up? That's just too bad for the grown-up, said the Grand High Witch. This meeting is over, she shouted. Out you go. The witches stood up and began gathering their things together. I was watching them through the crack and hoping to heaven they would hurry up and leave so that I might be safe at last. Wait! Shrieked one of the witches in the back row. Hold everything! Her shrieking voice echoed through the ballroom like a trumpet. All the witches suddenly stopped and turned and looked towards the speaker. She was one of the taller witches, and I could see her standing there with her head tilted back and her nose in the air, and she was sucking in great long breaths of air through those curvy pink seashelly nostrils of hers. Wait! She shouted again. What is it? The others cried out. Dog's droppings, she yelled. Just then, I got a whiff of dog's droppings. Surely not, the others shouted. There couldn't be. Yes, yes, shouted the first witch. There it is again. It's not strong, but it's there. It's here. It's definitely somewhere not too far away. What's going on down there? Shouted the Grand High Witch, glaring down from the platform. Mildred's just got a whiff of dog's droppings, Your Grandness, someone called back to her. What rubbish is this? Shouted the Grand High Witch. She has dog's droppings on the brain. There are no children in this room. Hang on, cried the witch called Mildred. Hang on, everybody, don't move. I'm getting it again. Her huge curvy nose holes were waving in and out like a pair of fishtails. It's getting stronger, it's hitting me harder now. Can't the rest of you smell it? All the noses of all the witches in that room went up in the air, and all the nostrils began to suck and sniff. All the witches. She's right, cried another voice. She's absolutely right. Dog's droppings, it is strong and foul. In a matter of seconds, the entire assembly of witches had taken up the dreaded cry of dog's droppings. Dog's droppings! They shouted. The room is full of it! Pooh! Pooh! Why did we not smell it before? It stinks like a sewer. Some little swine must be hiding not so very far from here. Find it! Screamed the Grand High Witch. Track it down! Rattle it out! Follow your noses till you get it! The hairs on my head were standing up like the bristles of a nail brush, and a cold sweat was breaking out all over me. Rattle it out, this small lump of dung! Screeched the Grand High Witch. Don't let it escape! If it isn't here, it has observed the most secret things. It must be exterminated immediately! The next chapter is called Metamorphosis. I remember thinking to myself, there is no escape for me now. Even if I make a run for it and manage to dodge the lot of them, I still won't get out because the doors are chained and locked. I'm finished. I'm done for. Oh, Grandmama, what are they going to do to me? And we'll stop there for today. Thank you for watching and joining in another episode of Storytime with Mrs. Edwards and the Witches, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.